A weather-worn Sunday evening as western North Carolina continues to shiver, slip, and slide as a major ice storm causes widespread problems.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of great chime-in photos and videos from viewers, including these. These are from Laurel Park and the Pinners Cove area of Buncombe County. Now, we also had an overturned truck today. This caused a major backup earlier on I-26 West in Henderson County. The wreck happened at mile marker 56 near Saluda. That tied up traffic for hours.
And we'll have more on that accident in just a few minutes.
Yeah, this is all part of our team coverage with crews out in the field right now. Chief Meteorologist Jason Boyer is here in the Weather Center. And Jason, what's the latest on the precipitation?
Yeah, it's all moving out quickly. That's the good news. And take a look here with the ice storm warnings already being chipped away to our west. We're no longer in there. Haywood, northern Jackson, Madison, Swain, also into Graham and Cherokee and Clay. It's just a matter of time before we start to really wind down things and move most of us out of the ice storm warning category. Hunter Subaru Skycam Network, temperatures are much warmer to the north and west. You got 30s in Brevard, but you have 40s out in our western zones, and it transitioned over to rain pretty quickly in the day for them. We still have a chance for some showers, but it's really clouds and maybe a patchy area of fog that we'll deal with later on this evening. Notice temperatures will stay above freezing by several degrees. In fact, this is already ending west to east. The rain west has moved on. The ice, even there, east and southeast of the city, has moved on in most cases, but we still have some impacts, no doubt, because of refreezing concerns later on tonight. Notice the temperatures here never got out of the freezing category for Fairview. You're stuck at 31 in Marion, 30 in Lake Lure. Still cold to the east and southeast, and still some moisture falling as freezing rain, believe it or not, down here along 385, I-26, and also I-85 for the Upstate and back into Charlotte and that metro area. And then we have clearing and then more wintry weather on the backside of the storm. In fact, that is something we'll be talking about overnight into the early morning. In fact, we're looking at the chance of some snow returning to the high elevations overnight into the early part of Monday. Now, you got to be close to the Tennessee state line to see this, but hey, it's going to happen, especially above 3,500 feet. We could add up a little bit, but notice what the temperatures will be doing here tonight. We're above freezing in most cases early on. Then after midnight, that's when more Arctic air is poised to move in and take us down way below freezing into the teens in some cases by morning, and it's going to feel colder than that. So that's why we want you to be aware and prepared for more ice potential, black ice potential, as we refreeze some of that moisture. So weather-worn days will continue through tonight, through tomorrow, even through Tuesday, because we have more frigid Arctic air expected to move in and more refreezing of ice and thus continued black ice issues. So stick around. We'll be talking more about that Arctic air in just a bit. But we want to go outside too. Meteorologist Karen Wynn outside our studio. And Karen, I'm sure conditions are still dicey, but they've changed a lot too, haven't they?
Jason, they sure have. A couple of hours ago, all rain, and it was really coming down hard. But now you can see this is an icy winter wonderland here in front of the station. Pretty much every tree branch I'm seeing is ice coated, and the rain has stopped, but what I'm hearing and what I'm experiencing is some of this ice melting and falling from the trees. It's kind of pinged my coat, and we can look down here and we can see a branch that's fallen, and check out some of these icicles here. So this kind of gives you an idea. We did get that icing, and the weight of the icing coating those branches brought this branch down. And so yes, it's warmed up a bit above freezing, and again, some of this ice is starting to fall from the trees, melting off a little, but we really don't have a whole lot of time for this to happen. We are about to get much colder as we go into the late night, and we can also see how wet some of the roads are after the rain that we got here this afternoon. So pretty soon these wet roads with that cold Arctic air coming in are going to turn slick as we go through the overnight, and those temperatures drop down so much, and so that is a concern. But right now out here, not feeling too bad and looking just beautiful.
All right, power crews continue to work on thousands of outages here in the mountains. This is a look at the Ready NC outage map. Henderson County, now more than 11,000 power outages being reported. Transylvania, just over 8,000. Buncombe County, as you see there now, right around 1,500 power outages that are being dealt with. Haywood has dropped down to less than 900 at 836 being reported, and Macon County now more than 1,100 as well. We're going to continue to watch those numbers, and we will keep you updated. All right, this is what I-26 looked like just a short time ago. A truck hauling drywall overturned earlier today on I-26 West, causing a major backup along the interstate for hours. And News 13's Shelly Garzone is live in Henderson County. And Shelly, yeah, you guys were stuck in that traffic yourselves.
Patrick, we were stuck in that traffic for just a little bit over 2 hours. We pulled into the interstate around 2:15, and it wasn't until about 4:15 that we were able to safely, very slowly exit off the interstate now to where we are at a local gas station here in Henderson County. But like I said, just a little bit over 2 hours we were on the interstate, and there were folks, you know, way in front of us on the interstate, so they might have even been there a lot longer than us. But this all happened according to the State Highway Patrol around noon today, when, like you said, a tractor trailer hauling drywall on I-26 just near mile marker 56 turned over. So both lanes going east on the interstate were closed as troopers and the North Carolina National Guard worked to clear the accident and some debris that were on the interstate as a result of that accident. We were actually able to speak to a truck driver who was behind us, who was making his way back to the Carolinas from Florida with a produce delivery.
May not be able to get them to come and unload me tonight, you know, because of this. But, you know, at the end of the day, I just hope, you know, the trucker wrecked up there ain't hurt, and we all get out of here in the near future.
And we checked in with state troopers, and they said that there were no reported injuries from this accident. Reporting in Henderson County tonight, I'm Shelly Garzone, News 13.
All right, thank you, Shelly. As we showed you earlier, power outages continue across the mountains tonight. News 13's Ryan Stockett is live in Mills River, one of the towns that is heavily affected by the storm. Ryan, what are people out there dealing with right now?
Mark, it's not just power outages that people are dealing with. If you look around, everything is just covered in ice. Now I want to show you something. If you look at the grass, every blade of grass, it seems like, has its own shell of ice. And the best part about this, it crunches when you step on it. Now Heather Lanning, who lives here, she's one of many people who are stuck without power. And she's not just without power, she's iced in. Take a look at this video of the ramp going up to her porch, how it's covered in thick ice. Instead of us attempting to go up the ramp or risk having her come down, we interviewed her from the bottom of her porch.
When I came outside, I was like, whoa, wow. Like, I couldn't believe how icy it was. And then we heard some trees snapping that were icy, I guess, over there.
Not far from where Heather lives, you can see the culprit of the power outage, this tree that fell onto the power line. Tonight at 10 and 11, we reached out to the county to learn about their efforts to respond to the winter storm. Live in Mills River, Ryan Stockett, News 13.
And now your News 13 Skywatch weather.
Yes, what a storm it was. Not for everybody in terms of the major impacts, but a lot of us had to deal with the ice south and east of Asheville, and that's just how it goes in these situations. Some are lucky enough to warm up, and boy, did you ever. West, look at that, still 30s and still well above freezing in Asheville and Silva, Bryson City, and also Waynesville, but still cold in Brevard at 33, and you know what? You're going to go down below freezing eventually. The airport has hit a new high today, finally 33, and this number may come up, believe it or not, in the next few hours, even higher, maybe up at the mid-upper 30s some point in the game here early on this evening. But the moisture's gone, good riddance. It's now a problem for more of our neighbors east. I-95 is going to turn very treacherous from Raleigh southward, and we have freezing rain happening around Columbia, Charlotte, just west of Raleigh. Big issues there. Big sleet in central and northern Virginia. Then you get into the snows and big snows for the big cities like New York, Boston, Philly, and in between we're talking a foot or more in a lot of cases up there into the northeast. So we have issues. Obviously travel will be greatly impacted. We're starting off a new week tomorrow, and it is going to be a rough go for a lot of travelers. All right, 30s now with the chance for drizzle in the Asheville area, but by bedtime we're still in the 30s, but upper 30s, and then look at the drop. That's right, we're going to start clearing out a little bit, but it's really the cold air that settles in. By the time we wake up tomorrow morning, 19 with feels like temperatures in the single digits. It'll only be 23 by lunchtime. That's it. All right. Yes, there will be more sunshine. Yes, there will be some melting, but then we go right back into the refreeze. Big temperature drop. That's our next big story beyond this weekend system. Now, we still have the chance for snow, believe it or not, kicking in for the high elevations sometime later tonight into the morning, right along the Tennessee state line. There it is. Into the early morning, some flakes will be flying. We'll start out with clouds, temperatures in the teens and 20s. We don't warm up much, even with sunshine. We're only looking at highs in the 20s for Asheville, Brevard, Cullowhee. You'll be a little better off there in Forest City at 35, and we'll see numbers even very cold all the way through Madison and Yancey County and Haywood as well. And then tomorrow night into Tuesday morning, look at this. Not a lucky number. 7 degrees for the low in Asheville. We'll see single digits in many places as skies clear. We'll warm up nicely, though, at least. I say nicely because this is about as warm as it gets the entire week. We'll see highs in the upper 30s, maybe touching 40 Tuesday afternoon, but here we go again. The longer range pattern showing more Arctic air that is going to come down courtesy of these strong Arctic high pressure areas. And this one is just going to sit up there over the northern tier of the U.S. later this week and just continue to push wave after wave of cold air down across the eastern U.S. And there might be the chance for some of this moisture to get caught up and eventually become more wintry weather for the Carolinas. No guarantees, but we'll be watching the weekend very closely. This is the temperature line. So the air temperatures max out at 40 later this week on Tuesday. This is how it will feel, though. Look at these numbers into the early part of the morning. We'll have sub-zero wind chills several days in the morning, so you'll want to cover all exposed skin. There's a look. Monday morning, single-digit wind chills. We go below 0 for wind chills Tuesday morning, and we start out in the low teens on Wednesday morning, so it's not going to warm up much. We may be adding more weather-worn days once we get past this storm. We just don't want to bring a lot of anxiousness beyond what has already happened. So right now we have 2 weather-worn days, but don't be shocked if we add more as we go throughout the week. Temperatures will be really cold most days and most nights. In the upstate, you also have the chill to feel as highs likely don't get out of the 30s Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.